Almost all of the energy that your body uses to fuel activities is stored in a molecule called adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, which we've talked about before. To recap, ATPs are like tiny batteries that circulate in your body's cells, releasing energy when needed. In conjunction with this, your body synthesizes and recharges ATP molecules by burning fuel, mostly carbohydrates and fats. You eat not just to replenish your ATP stores, but also to create an energy reserve so you don't run out.
Measured over the short term, you are rarely in energy balance. When you eat and digest food, this will usually put you in a positive energy balance. And for the rest of the day and night, if you skip dinner, you will then be in a negative energy balance. But over longer periods, days, weeks, and months, provided you are neither losing nor gaining weight, it is because your energy balance is at a steady state. In simple terms, weight gain or weight loss is caused by extended periods of being in positive or negative energy balance, respectively. Because weeks or months of negative energy balance are bad for reproductive success, most organisms, including humans, are adapted to avoid this state.
One way to avoid being in negative energy balance is by regulating how much energy you expend. Your body spends energy on a variety of functions. A large component of your body's budget, your resting metabolism, goes towards taking care of essential needs such as maintaining your brain, circulating blood, breathing, repairing tissues, and maintaining your immune system.
A typical adult's daily resting metabolism requires about 1,300 to 1,600 calories, but this cost varies widely, largely because of variations in fat-free body mass. More muscular bodies consume more energy at rest. The remainder of your energy budget is spent doing things like physical activity, digesting, and keeping your body temperature stable. The other way we regulate energy balance is by eating. Food contains energy stored in the chemical bonds between its molecules. The basic components of food are the macronutrients: proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Proteins are coiled chains of amino acids. Carbohydrates are long chains of sugar molecules, while fats are made of 3 long molecules called fatty acids, held together by a single molecule of glycerol. The chemical term for fat is triglycerides.
The different properties of fat and carbohydrates are reflected in how the body uses and stores them as fuel. The process begins the moment food enters your mouth, where enzymes in your saliva start to break down carbohydrates into their component sugars, and more enzymes continue that job further down in your stomach and intestines. There are many kinds of sugars, but the 2 most common basic forms are glucose and fructose. Glucose, which isn't very sweet, is the essential sugar that makes up starchy foods like cereal products and bread. Carbohydrates like sucrose, which you'd find in certain fruits like bananas, and lactose, which you'd find in milk, are both made up of 50% glucose.
In any case, your intestines shuttles glucose into the bloodstream as quickly as possible because your body requires a steady, uninterrupted supply of it. But there's a catch. You always need sufficient glucose in your blood to prevent cells from dying, especially in your brain. But too much glucose is toxic to tissues throughout your body. Your brain and pancreas therefore constantly monitor and stabilize blood glucose levels by regulating levels of the hormone insulin. Insulin is produced by the pancreas and then pumped into the bloodstream whenever blood sugar levels go up, usually right after you digest food. Insulin has several other jobs, but its most critical function is to keep glucose levels from rising too high, which it does in several ways in different organs. One major site of insulin action is the liver, where about 20% of the glucose in your blood ends up. Normally, the liver converts this glucose into glycogen, but it can't store too much glycogen too quickly, so any excess is converted into fat, which either accumulates within the liver or gets dumped into the blood. The other 80% of glucose travels around your body and is taken up and then burned as fuel by cells in organs like the brain, muscles, and kidneys. The other most common kind of basic sugar is fructose, which tastes sweet. Fructose, which is often paired with glucose, is naturally present in fruit and honey, as well as table sugar, sucrose, which is 50% fructose. Unlike glucose, which can be metabolized by cells throughout the body, fructose is almost entirely metabolized by the liver. But the liver can only burn so much fructose at once, so, as with glucose, it converts any excess fructose into fat, which again is either stored in the liver or dumped into the bloodstream.
Fat's fate then is mostly determined by the liver. Some of it gets stored within the liver, some is immediately burned, and some is stored in muscles. But the remainder is transported by blood to specialized fat cells called adipocytes, which are found all over the body.
A typical human has tens of billions of these cells, each of which contains a single droplet of fat. As more fat is added to a cell, it swells like a balloon. Many of these cells are beneath your skin and thus termed subcutaneous fat. Some of these cells are in muscles and other organs, and some lie around the organs of your abdomen, where they are known as visceral fat.
The contrasts between subcutaneous and visceral fat are really important from a health perspective. Visceral fat cells behave differently from other fat cells, making excessive belly fat a much more serious risk factor than simply being overweight for many diseases associated with obesity. But I won't go into detail on that here.